والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين سيما بقية الله روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائلا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. مؤمنين ومؤمنات, brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our a'mal in this holy, blessed month of Ramadan. As we approach the end of the month, it is the last Laylatul Jumu'ah, last Thursday night or eve of Friday of the month of Ramadan, the night of istighfar, in the month of forgiveness. It's the month of mercy and forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely that He has not forgiven us, that He forgives us from now in this night. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. We seek refuge to Him from His wrath and the punishment that would come upon or be the consequence of some of our ill actions. We ask Him to forgive us before we depart. Forgive us before this month depart us, and before this eve of Friday, Laylatul Jumu'ah, depart us. Also, we remember all mu'mineen and mu'minat and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness for those who passed from our ancestors, family members, and for forgiveness and well-being for those who are remaining, inshallah. Tonight, I want to summarize what we discussed so far in this month of Ramadan, in this month of mercy. A quick summary on the three main discussions that we had in this month. We started the month with a discussion on how we can gain a bridge or a passport over the bridge of Sirat, based on the sermon from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he says, whoever betters his akhlaq, his ethics, his morals, the way he acts with people, especially his interaction with people, whoever betters himself in that regard, then they would gain the passport over the Sirat. And I said that the passport that is gained by bettering one's akhlaq cannot be given and cannot be gained unless and until one purifies their heart. Because what is significant when it comes to any kind of behavior is the intention behind the behavior. Sometimes one may intend bad and the action seems good. With a bad intention, evil intention, something good comes out of it. And it often happens. It often happens. This is through the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants the good to happen. And despite the fact that somebody intended bad, He doesn't allow it. Now, whether they get the punishment for that or not, this is not my discussion. When we see the action, we see good. But the intention was not good, therefore the khuluq was not good. An example of that is, in fact, today we recited in Surah Al-Munafiqun. Some of you were with us, and I reflected briefly on that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the beginning of Surah Al-Munafiqun, He says to His messenger that these people, the Munafiqun, they on the one hand, they are saying, Innaka la Rasulullah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu ya'lamu innaka la Rasul. God knows that you're His messenger. However, He says, Wallahu yashhadu. إذا جاءك المنافقون قالوا نشهد إنك لرسول الله. When the munafiqun and the hypocrites, they come to you, they say, you are the messenger of God. God knows that you are His messenger. And God witnesses that the hypocrites are liars. They said on the surface, you say, well, they told the truth. إنك لرسول الله. The mukhbir is a liar, we say. Then the one who's telling the news is a liar. The news turned out to be true. But he was telling a lie. In his mind, he did not believe Nashhadu innaka la Rasulullah was not true from their heart. They were just saying it. Yes, it is true. God knows it is true, but they are still liars. The other side applies. One who intends to tell the truth, he tells a lie, not realizing. For example, the door is knocked and you say, who is it? And the person who says, their name, they give you their name, and you believe that that's what it is. You come and tell someone that X is at the door. Now, assuming that the person at the door was telling a lie, you went and told that X is at the door. You told the truth. Yes, the reality is it wasn't true. However, you told the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are lying. Therefore, what concerns you and I, and should concern us, is that my action comes from a good heart, not that it appears good. It may, sometimes a believer or a good person might be deceived into certain circumstances where he looks like he's the guilty person. And some evil people put him in that situation. We look at it and we think, well, he's doing something wrong. He's committing some evil act. What concerns us is not the surface, rather what's in the heart. That is in fact what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks. And in terms of taqwa, He says He wants it from the heart. Therefore, in brief, in order for us to better our akhlaq, to better our interactions with people, it is not a fake show. It cannot be, and that is not going to give me this pass on the Sirat. The pass over the Sirat will be given by me bettering my heart. So the action that comes out of it is beautiful. It is a better action, not better looking action, real deed from the heart. Therefore, as I said, we needed to make sure we better our heart and rid our hearts from the diseases, whether it be jealousy, whether it be hypocrisy, whether it be riya, show off, whether it be anger and vengeance, revenge feelings, emotions of revenge. All of these things we need to empty our hearts from. This was the focus in the first section. Very much related to that was the second section when we discussed the spiritual leap. Now, if we look back, if I want us to reflect on this. In order for me to better my akhlaq, to beautify my action, I have to first purify my heart. So first we in ulama al-akhlaq and ilm al-akhlaq, they call it at-takhliya wa at-tahliya. First you have to purify the heart. Some make it 3-stage, they say takhliya, tathhir, tahliya. Either way, empty it, purify it, then beautify it. We call emptying and purification one, takhliya. Empty, purify. So first you purify it and then you beautify it. Mind you, emptying from what? Emptying from certain things that are products of years of our lives sometimes. Sometimes one may have lived years, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, however many years they have lived. They've lived all these years of their lives growing up based on certain environment that they're living in, certain characteristics of the environment, certain influences from around them. They grow up and the heart molds into a certain shape. And we're not speaking of the physical heart here. It gains, it absorbs certain characteristics. Now, out of a sudden, we realize, you know what? We want to travel to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to pass over the Sirat. I have to purify. Therefore, the best way, in fact, there is a narration that often in Christianity, they narrate from Nabiullah Isa ala nabina wa alayhi salam, that one of the disciples came to him and said to him, make us like you. One of them or some of them said, make us like you. Isa ala nabina wa alayhi salam. Then he said to them, go and get a new sheepskin. Sheepskin is what the container that they used to put water in. If the sheepskin is now filthy, inside it is filthy, dirty, rotten, let's say some old water stayed in it, and it started smelling. Now you fill it up with new water. You want to drink the water, it's going to have the smell. Why? Because it itself is bad. Therefore, he says, go and get a new sheepskin. And he explained, I'm not saying go and get a new self, go and get a new heart. I am not suggesting that. What I am saying is that it would take complete destruction at times of the set of beliefs, of the set of the characteristics that we may have. That's why I admire, in fact, reverts, because they grew up in a certain environment and they became the product of that environment. You are what you believe. They became who they were at a time, and then they decided to take a journey towards truth. Now, often it happens from the beginning. They're questioning and they're asking. Often it happens early on in life, whichever way it happens for them, and I've heard some of their beautiful stories. It is an amazing experience. At some point, it is almost like a self-destruction mode. Put off a self-destruction mode and destroy everything you believed in. Somebody who grew up in Trinity, and anytime anything scary happened, they did the movement, the action, you know. Out of a sudden, now they are to believe, they have to believe that this is all falsehood. This cannot be the case. It is not easy. For them, perhaps this journey of self-purification is easier, but it takes conscious decision that I want to go through it. Even if it takes me destroying everything that my fathers and my ancestors said to me, and everything that they did. Often they don't say it, they do it. And you learn it by action. This is what we learn more often. We learn from the action more than learning from the words. That's how most of us children watch and learn. So now I have to go through that. Purification sometimes means that destruction. Then beautification. Then you can put some beautiful characteristics. An environment that everybody was stingy. Somebody growing up in, some families, I don't want to mention names of groups of faith or city names, and accuse a whole group of faith or a whole city of stinginess. Somebody growing in an environment that everybody's tight-fisted. Now they want to be generous. It is not easy. But first they have to do that destruction of the belief that if I give, I'm going to be poor, of the belief that the more I keep, the more comfortable I will be. And all of these ideologies and mentalities, destroy it. Then you can display beauty. Coming to the next stage, we said that in order for us to travel this spiritual leap, which is possible, and it was most possible at the nights of Qadr. Is it over now? It is not over. In fact, one of the best nights for this spiritual leap, besides Laylatul Qadr, is the last night of the month of Ramadan. My dear brothers and sisters, take advantage of the last night of the month of Ramadan. Perhaps it will be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, there is a dua that is recommended, and there are differences in terms of whether it should be the night of Eid or the night before the night of Eid, but most adequate or most probably the correct way of doing it in time of reciting it would be the night of the last day. Perhaps the night of Eid is no longer the last night of the month of Ramadan jurisprudentially. In any case, that dua, inshallah, tomorrow, if we can schedule it and recite it together, inshallah, dua of farewelling of the month of Ramadan. And I'll try and reflect on it during our talk, and inshallah, we'll recite it afterwards if we have the opportunity, inshallah, if we can have it together. That night, the night of farewell, if our hearts can break, if we can be like a heartbroken person farewelling the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as if we are farewelling a dear beloved, someone who we really love. At that time when the hearts break and the tears are shedding, at that time, if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He'll help you, and that spiritual leap is still possible. That spiritual leap, however, has two prerequisites. The first one we said in terms of tahliya, beautification and betterment of one's akhlaq doesn't happen until we do the tahliya. The spiritual leap cannot happen until we do tahliya. That is the condition for it. The condition for it is to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to be with Ahlul Bayt. We want to be, and the peak of the spiritual leap is to be with the Imam of the time. And we recite, Allahumma ja'alni min ansarihi wa ahwanihi wa dhabina an. We pray that we are with him. Dua al-iftitah is beautified by the remembrance of Al-Imam al-Hujjah Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. وَالْإِلْمُ بِهِ شَعَثَنَا وَاشْعَبْ بِهِ صَدْعَنَا وَارْتُقْ بِهِ فَتْقَنَا. Beautify our lives with the Imam of the time. Ya Allah, we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That beautification is the prerequisite to be with the Imam, because the Imam is absolute beauty. The Prophet is absolute beauty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in the Holy Quran, He says to His Messenger, or regarding His Messenger in Surah Al-Fath, the last ayah, He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Muhammadur Rasulullah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He is the Messenger of God. Then He says the believers with Him, not Him only, no, the believers with Him. Then God starts describing the beautiful characteristics of those who are with Him. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Merciful. Yes, they do have, they are firm when it comes to the disbelievers. They are not weak, they are not cowards. They are very courageous, and they stand. They don't turn around and run away. However, when it comes to the believers amongst themselves, رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Because of what? وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. You are we did not send you but a mercy to the worlds. They are with Him, therefore they have to be like Him. I want to be with the Imam of the time. I cannot have ill characteristics and be with the Imam of the time. Even the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at least in surface, they had to behave well. Yes, you might say some of them were rude and they spoke rudely to him. They were not with him. They were not welcome in his house. They were not welcome with him in close gatherings. Who was with him in his house? Someone like Salman. He says, Salman, minna ahlul bayt. Salman is from us. You hear that Salman is conversing with the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The daughter of Rasulullah is talking to Salman. There are few who reach that level. Very few who reach that level. That could come in the house of Rasulullah and speak with, even have conversations with his daughter, Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha. Now, whether it was a curtain or how it was the setup, nonetheless, there is a dressing. There were two of the so-called companions, she did not even want to talk to them. She did not even want to welcome them. Imam Ali alayhi salam asked her because they requested. And when they came, she said, Oh Allah, you bear witness that they have angered me. These are people who were around the Prophet, yet, but there were people who reached that level of being welcome in the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Reached that level. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Amir al-Mu'mineen had more of them. Imam Hussein alayhi salam had even more of those people. And that's, in fact, he says, Ma ra'aytu, I've never seen companions like my companions. And amazingly, you read in the history of the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and there are many lessons for us to learn, especially regarding the spiritual leap, that it is so very much possible. One of them, some of them, in fact, it is narrated that not one, some of them were Christian. At least one. At least the one family that came together. They were Christian and they followed him, believed, and going from, and in a short period of time, they took a journey that we would pray for our entire life to be with Ashab al-Hussein. This is the real meaning of as-salam. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. These men, some of them were Uthmani al-Hawa. One of them it is said he was not even clear on the imamah of Amir al-Mu'mineen in the beginning of the Khilafah. He thought it's just like everybody believes, first, second, third, and then Imam Ali alayhi salam, the fourth Khalifa. No, the names aren't as significant, and there are debates about them historically, so I don't want to bring the names. Some of them very famous, in fact, in the day of Ashura. They abla bala'an hasanan. They did so much for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, for Islam, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the greatest examples which we shared as we were speaking of the spiritual leap is the famous Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. He came to Karbala with the intention of standing against Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He blocked his path from coming to Kufa. He was the leader of that group. And he made him divert until they stopped in Karbala. Eventually he became amongst the companions, spiritual leaders. It requires, again, beautification. And I don't want to go back into the discussion why and what kind of beauty he had, which he had, in order to deserve that state and that status. However, we need to beautify in order to have the spiritual leap, inshallah. The last discussion we had was regarding the how we can, inshallah, how we can maintain our good deeds in order to keep them until we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, which we discussed some of the things that we should do, prayers on time and so on. One of the keys that I want to share with you is arba'iniyya, we call it, to have 40 days. We started the month of Ramadan. Inshallah, from the beginning, we had that intention of purification. We had the intention of beautification. Inshallah, we had that intention to be amongst the companions of Al-Imam Al-Hujjah Ajalullah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And perhaps 30 days by the day of Eid, 29 days based on when you started. The next day of Eid, according to the some riwayat, is the 3 days, in fact. That yes, the first day is when we pray Salatul Eid and so on. However, it is 3 days from Shawwal. It is best, first day is haram to fast, the second and third is best not to fast, and then it is recommended to fast the next 7 days, in fact. In other words, you have a 40 here. I would recommend, mu'mineen and mu'minat, that in order for us to maintain the good deeds that we did in the month of Ramadan, that we continue until the 40, and then inshallah it becomes a habit and we continue. Continue what? Fasting. I'm not suggesting that everything you did in the month of Ramadan. Yes, it is recommended after the 3 days break of the Eid to fast the next 7 days. Those who had to break their fast, women who had to break their fast and so on, that is the best time. Unfortunately, oftentimes they end up not having enough time, and comes the next month of Ramadan, next month of Ramadan, and then they have to pay the fidya, which means they failed in their in making it up on time. Whoever is traveling for whatever reason, they had to break their fast. Best time to make it up as early as possible. Now, if you can't make them continuously, as early as possible. However, this is not the part I want to suggest. They say, إذا أردت أن تطاع اطلب المستطاع. If you want to be listened to, ask for something that is possible. Perhaps some of you are thinking, well, we cannot wait to not have to fast every day. Are you suggesting that we fast? That's not what my suggestion is. Some of the habits, and that's my suggestion, brothers and sisters, some of the habits, the good habits that you gained in the month of Ramadan, maintain them. This is practically here. If in the month of Ramadan you got up for Sahar and you ate before the time of Fajr, and you got to pray a couple of rak'ahs, some Salatul Layl, and you got to pray your Fajr in time, do not lose that and go back to sleeping until almost sunrise or God forbid sunrise. Do not go back to that. You change your schedule to. Now some may say, well, we have been missing out on sleep. Well, believe it or not, almost a month has passed, and by the end of the month, a month has passed. And we make it up here and there. Plus, it is not recommended to stay up in the beginning of the night. This is important to reflect on. Unless you have a reason, a good reason, if you're working and your work is as such, if you are perhaps, if you're seeking knowledge, it's one of the good reasons. If you are in ibadah and dhikr, one of the good reasons for sure. However, for no reason or for worldly and empty reasons, I want to, people often have this concept of movie night. Make it a movie day. Early thing, yes, no problem. But late things after Isha prayers, unless one is seeking knowledge or earning their livelihood or doing some sort of ibadah or dhikr or helping someone, doing something that is beneficial. Otherwise, it is not recommended to stay up. What should I do? Start your day early. Finish your day early so that you can start your day early and wake up at the time that the sustenance is distributed. You want dunya, wake up for Salatul Layl and stay up between Sahar and between Fajr and sunrise, between the break of dawn and sunrise. You want Akhirah, Salatul Layl, and that time. Do not miss out on that. Change some of the habits and maintain those habits. If we change them, maintain them. The 40 days. The last one is based, and this is what I want to finish with inshallah tonight, based on the ayah that I began with from Surah Ghafir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Your Lord has said, call upon me, I answer you. This is a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the most, in fact, the most powerful part of the spiritual journey is supplication, calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may ask, why? How is that? Supplication is haqiqatul tawheed. The real monotheism is supplication. Haqiqatul ubudiyya. The real servitude, being a servant and acknowledging that, Ya Allah, I need you. I cannot, إِنِّي لَا أَمْلِكُ لِنَفْسِي نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا. I cannot bring any goodness to myself. I cannot bring any harm to myself. I cannot control my life. I cannot control my death. It's all in your hand. This is the meaning of dua. And here I'm saying, Ya Allah, I want to have that spiritual journey. I want to be near the Imam of my time. I want to take that spiritual leap. I want to empty, purify, beautify, and take that leap towards you and take that leap towards the Imam, the present Imam, your real Hujjah on earth. I want all of those. Ya Allah, it's in your hand. Help me. Say it sincerely. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will happen. The best, and again, I come back to Arba'iniyya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Nabiullah Musa ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam, or regarding Nabiullah Musa ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam, he says, وَوَعَدْنَا Musa, an appointment we made with Musa, 30 layla, 30 nights. Then he says, وَأَتْمَمْنَاهَا بِعَشْرٍ. Then we completed them with another 10. فَتَمَّ مِيقَاتُ رَبِّهِ 40 لَيْلَةً. Tamam is perfection, completion. The time, the appointment with his Lord was completed with 40. Let us start a 40-day after Fajr. Wake up for Fajr. If you can, for Sahar. Even if you wake up 5 minutes before Fajr and pray just Shafa and Watr, 3 rak'ah. 2 rak'ah Shafa, 1 rak'ah Watr. Even if that's all you can do. And then after your Fajr, recite Dua al-Ahd. The dua that we are making a covenant with the Imam of our time, Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, al-Ahd. It is known as the Ahd, a promise, a covenant that we are making with the Imam of the time, recited with reflection on it, with understanding of the dua. In fact, there is a narration that whoever recites it for 40 days and purifies their home or in front of their home, this is very significant to reflect on. Now, what is the significance of purifying in front of their home? Sweep, clean in front of your home. It could be taken, and one should understand that it would be on different levels. On one level, sweep in front of your house physically. Clean in front of your house physically. Well and good. What does it do? It brings about those emotions of eagerness that I'm beautifying my home for you to come, Ya Imam. I'm expecting you. I know that you are living, and I know that you hear, and I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has withheld you and kept you from us, from the people. However, if He permits, you will come. And I can see you. I know that. I'm sweeping knowing that I could very well be blessed with seeing you. Therefore, I want to beautify my home. I want to beautify the front in front of my house so that I can welcome you. Now, if you think about this itself, and then we take it to the next level, beautifying and cleaning around, not just within, beautification within and around. What if I have haram income, and through that haram income, I have purchased haram things and it's in my house? Can I keep that? Stolen property, usurped property, doubtful property, doubtful food. Can I bring it to my house? Or haram food, can I bring it to my house? And then recite Dua al-Ahd and sweep in front of the house hoping to meet the Imam? Does that mean cleaning in front of the house? Or could it mean further than that? Cleansing. Anything. Or ornaments and things that Ahlul Bayt stayed away from. To the point where we, perhaps some of us, we are making our Jannah on earth. That we want paradise here. Extravagance here I'm referring to. If I have extravagance, would I expect the Imam to be happy and pleased? Can I welcome him in my house? Or does it mean I have to go further and purify and empty my home from that? First, empty the heart from those attachments. That my heart is not attached to those things. And then go beyond that and beautify your surroundings. Wal-ayadu billah, part of that, and I want you to reflect on this, part of that is how we train our children and how we bring up the family. How we should all be. Imagine, I want to welcome the Imam and I have not taught my children how to pray. I have not taught them Quran. I have not trained my daughter to wear hijab. Even my wife doesn't even care about the hijab. And I want to, and I'm not saying force people, I'm not saying to put any, but make those things as the most important things that you sit and discuss. Make sure that that is more important for you than anything else when it comes to worldly affairs. When it comes to worldly affairs, how we present ourselves is very significant, very important. When it comes to our affairs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to place more emphasis there. And قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ, yes, you are responsible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, protect yourself and your family from a fire. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ. It is my responsibility. If you see that your daughter's dress code, your wife's dress code is not the best, remind them, tell them. If it means that you have to show disappointment, show disappointment. That is part of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. So we don't have so much immodesty in today's society. Hijab is going, and the tops of hijab revealing that. And this is one example. Another example, children who are, God forbid, having posters of certain things in the house, certain pictures, immodest pictures in the house, in their bedrooms, and busy with their headphones or earphones, listening to certain things. And this is not a beautified and purified home. We need to make sure we're on top of those things. You may say we're living in difficult times. If it means that you have to migrate, migrate. If you cannot control it and maintain it where you are, then migrate. If you can, it's فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكَ. It's better for you. Why it's better? Because yes, the world is changing all over. So it's best to train ourselves that we can control wherever we are. However, if certain areas are extremely bad, Nabiullah Ibrahim, ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam, he said, he brought a group of the believers with him, and he said, وَأَعْتَزِلُكُمْ وَمَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَأَدْعُوا رَبِّي. I will leave you. I will depart with you. If we have to depart, we have to depart. If that's not what it takes, if it takes other means, and I don't like to use examples of the family. My eldest son, he said to me, Baba, what if your beloved daughter, he sees me how, alhamdulillah, there's a special relationship between the father and the daughter. I guess most of you, especially those who have daughters, they know what I'm saying. Says you love her so much. If she decides, if she's at the age of hijab, she decides she does not wear hijab, what would you do? I said, I ask you a question. If your sister decides at that age that, excuse the term, she wants to go naked in the street, what would you do? He got the point. To him, I made it clear that you have set the bar. You set the bar at a certain height, and the family follows. If you set it higher, then the family follows. If that happens, what would you do as an individual, as a brother, as the sibling, as a son? Then set the bar higher. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ. Protect yourselves from all sorts of mischief. Shubuhat, haram coming to the house, doubtful things coming to the house, and then we say, Allahumma ajjal liwaliyika al-faraj. Oh Allah, bring the imam. Am I ready myself? Is my house ready for the imam? Beautify your heart so that the heart is not a heart of a greedy person, the heart of an angry person, the heart of a revengeful person. Do not have oppression. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent all the messengers and the books and prescribed jihad on certain nations. All of that, وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ فِي. All of that for what? لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. Justice. Make sure you are just. Make sure you do not oppress. those beautifications and the family. Tonight, I wanted us to reflect on that. And the environment. Sweep in front of your house. Take it beyond the words. Sweep. Physically, yes, do it. But sweep beyond. Clean not just your house, around your house, your neighbors. Try to beautify the environment that you're in. Prepare the environment that we're in so that we can welcome the Imam of the time. Ajjalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. Inshallah, I had the intention of some reflections on Dua al-Ahd, the covenant. That is very, very, in fact, powerful. In part of it, we say, Allahumma inni. After the beginning part is the praising of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His beautiful names. Allahumma Rabba al-Nur al-Azim, Rabba al-Kursi al-Rafiq, Rabba al-Bahr al-Mashur, Munzil al-Tawrat, wal-Injil, wal-Zabur. Every book is from you. You revealed all. Then, Allahumma inni as'aluka bismika al-Kareem, wa binuri wajhika al-Munir, wa mulkika al-Qadim. I ask you by your beautiful names, by the light of your face, not the physical light, the light of guidance that you guide everyone through it. And all of that introduction, then we say, Allahumma balligh. Ya Allah, make my salam reach the Imam of my time. Balligh Mawla, Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, an jami' al-mu'minina wal-mu'minat. And I'm including, I'm not alone. It is so, on my own, I'm so little, humble. Inshallah, we are humble. مؤمنين والمؤمنات في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها. Connect with them. Connect with the lovers of the Imam. Then وعني وعن والدي من الصلوات والتحيات زنة عرش الله ومداد كلماته. So blessings and greetings to the Imam, to the level he deserves. And then, Allahumma inni ujaddidu. Every day, if you recite this, make it 40 and continue. It becomes a habit after 40, you would never want to give it up. Continue reciting it and beautifying at the same time around you. Ujaddidu lahu. Every morning, I renew my covenant. Ahdan wa aqdan wa bay'atan lahu. La ahulu anha. I would never turn from this covenant and the bay'ah, the allegiance that I'm giving. وَلَا أَزُولُ أَبَدًا. And then, Allahumma ja'alni min ansarihi wa awani. Ya Allah, make us amongst his helpers and those who aid him and support him. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this Laylatul Jum'ah, the last Laylatul Jum'ah of the month of Ramadan, to make the heart of the Imam of our time, pleased with us. To make him pray for us, to include us in his dua. وَارْزُقْنَا خَيْرَهُ وَدُعَاءَهُ وَخَيْرَهُ. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to please the Imam of the time with us and make him include us in his dua, dua al-khair, dua for goodness for us, for our family, for our relatives, for our loved ones. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this Laylatul Jum'ah to forgive us and forgive all our marhumeen, those who passed away from mu'mineen and mu'minat, that He grants them mercy. All mu'mineen and mu'minat who are unwell, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants them the quick recovery. The mother of Ismail, Hussein Ghasham, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant her the quick recovery. And all mu'mineen and mu'minat who asked us for dua, inshallah, we remember them all. Let us recite, it is a request that we recite Amma Yujib, inshallah, as the desperate ones calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His help and to answer the call of the desperate ones. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma yujib al-muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshif as-su'. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء، أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. إلهي يا مجيب المضطر، يا الله يا كاشف السوء، يا الله اكشف عنا سوءنا بفرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. شاف مرضانا المريض المنظورة، ارحم موتانا بحرمة السورة المباركة الفاتحة حفظها صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. إياك